Welcome to Phase 2, the intervention phase. This is where you get a chance for some real hands-on experience with mindfulness strategies. Please watch this video prior to opening any additional emails for this phase. This presentation will cover an introduction of the phase. I will explain the 3 types of emails you will receive and also show you some examples of each one. I'll review the participant requirements and the study's disqualification measures for the intervention phase. Lastly, I'll provide a demonstration on how to navigate through the website where the treatment materials will be housed. The intervention phase will last 8 weeks, and you'll be expected to commit between 2.5 to 3.25 hours per week during this time. This estimate includes the time spent consuming the intervention materials, completing the daily practice exercises, and assessment surveys. That time can be broken up throughout the week however you'd like to do it. However, you'll be expected to commit a 20 to 30 minute daily practice about 5 to 7 times per week. Each week will specify the amount of time and type of daily practice. At the beginning of each week, you will receive a link to the activities to be completed throughout that week. And at the end of each week, you'll complete an assessment survey for a total of 8 assessments within this phase. Please remember that you have 24 hours to complete the assessment from the time that the email was sent, just like during the first phase. Also, at the end of each week, you'll be required to submit completed practice logs to ensure accountability of participation. Please complete both the informal and formal logs and submit them back to the researcher. You will have an option to download the practice sheets as a PDF or Word doc. I recommend a Word doc so you can input your information directly on the computer. Then you can either attach the completed logs to the email that will be provided or text a picture of the completed logs to the researcher. I will include my email and phone number on each email sent for this phase. Also of note, week 8 does not require you to complete and submit any practice logs. You will receive 3 different types of emails for this phase. The emails will be sent in the wee hours of the morning, so please check your inbox carefully as an email might get stuck between spam or advertising emails. The first email you'll receive is the MBSR weekly treatment materials. This will be sent at the beginning of each week and include a hyperlink that will take you to the website where the week's materials will be housed. The second email you'll receive will be the MBSR check-ins email. This will be sent 2 to 3 times periodically throughout each week. This email will assist in remembering to complete the week's activities and allow you to document any adverse events or limitations to accessing the materials. The last email you'll receive will be the MBSR Weekly Assessment Link email, which will provide you with a link to complete the assessment survey as well as prompt you to attach the completed practice logs to this email. The assessment email will be sent at the end of each week. Now, let's take a closer look at each email. The first email you'll receive within this phase will be titled MBSR Week Number Materials. This type of email will be sent 1 time per week at the beginning of each treatment week. It will most likely be sent on a Sunday or Monday. And the number, pound, hashtag sign that you see here in the title will be replaced with the specific number for the week that you're currently on. For example, the first email will say week 1, the following week will say week 2, etc. An embedded hyperlink in the email will take you directly to the intervention's website and the home page for that specific week. For example, if you are on week 2, the link will take you directly to week 2's materials. Please only access the material for the current week that you're responsible for. When completing the readings, videos, and practice activities, please find a quiet space free from distractions or interruptions. Take a moment now to think of some potential places that work for you. Some suggestions may be to listen to the videos during your commute to and from work, or read the short articles before bed. You get to pick which block of day works best for you, but try to be as consistent as possible throughout this phase. Also, give yourself enough time during the week to access the videos and readings, as you will be required to complete the assessment survey at the end of each week. It is recommended but not required that you access the videos and readings at the beginning of the week to focus the rest of your week on the daily practice activities. However, please do what works best for you as long as you complete all the tasks before taking the weekly assessment. The researcher will continue to use the email tracker app, and if there is documentation that you have not accessed the treatment through the sent emails for 2 consecutive weeks, then you may be disqualified from the study. Now let me show you an example of this email. Once you open the MBSR week materials email, here's what you'll see. You'll be able to confirm which week that you're on, and here's a reminder that you'll only be accessing the material for that specific week. And below will be the hyperlink to take you to the website where you can start to access the material. And below that are the recommendations and reminder to download the practice logs and to start filling them out for the week. If you run into any difficulties accessing the hyperlink, please let me know as soon as possible. Let's move on to the second type of email you'll receive. The purpose of this email is to provide encouragement and help keep the study at the forefront of your mind. There is an opportunity to document adverse events or mention access limitations by replying to this email. As a reminder, an adverse event is something that occurred either professionally or personally that may have impacted your stress for that time period. Documentation of limited access of information is also something that could be reported at this time. If you're having technical difficulties like the hyperlink isn't taking you to the correct week, or maybe the fact that you had to work 2 double shifts in the last 2 days and you haven't been able to open the material yet, would be something worth reporting here. You are only required to reply to this email if there's something to report. You do not have to reply to the MBSR check-in email. And if you don't reply, it will be assumed that you have not experienced any adverse events and you are actively accessing the material. The MBSR check-in email will be sent 2 to 3 times throughout each week during this phase. And here is what the MBSR check-in email will include. It will remind you of which week that you are on, provide some critical questions to determine if you need to document any information. Here's the question for adverse events, and here's where the access limitations can be found. Below that, you'll see a countdown to how many more weeks you have left in the intervention phase. And additionally, you'll have recommendations such as providing as much detail as you can if you need to report any adverse events or access limitations, and a reminder that you do not have to reply to this email if there's nothing to report. Also, there's a reminder that you will be required to complete at the end of the week assessment, within 24 hours of receiving that email. Email number 3 is the last type of email you'll receive for this phase. It will be sent at the end of each treatment week. You will access the assessment surveys the same way you did as in the previous phase of this study. Please use your login code each time to complete the weekly survey. Also, please be consistent in what time you access and complete all the assessment surveys, such as in the morning, in the afternoon, evening, or nighttime, just as you did during the first phase. This is also in the email where you'll attach the completed practice logs for the week. Or you can choose to text a picture of the practice logs. Either way, you'll submit the logs at the same time you complete this assessment survey. Remember that there are 2 logs each week to submit, except for the last week of the intervention. A few more things to keep in mind. Failure to complete the assessment survey within 24 hours from the time that it was sent, as well as failure to attach completed practice logs over 2 consecutive weeks, will result in disqualification from the study. Lastly, please complete all the treatment readings, videos, and practice activities for the current week prior to completing the assessment, and complete the assessment before moving on to the following week's materials. In other words, please complete all the material for week 4, take week 4's survey, then you can dive into week 5's materials. Here's what the MBSR weekly assessment link email will look like. The link to Qualtrics will be embedded right here. Please use your login code every time you access the survey. If you're unsure of how to access the survey from the link provided, please review Phase 1 intro video, as this will be the same process. Most weeks you'll have a formal and informal practice log to complete. And here is the line reminding you to reply to this email with the completed logs attached. If something horrific happens in your life for that week and you get this email and realize you haven't completed any of the material for the week, please let me know by replying to this email. The email also includes a statement about potential disqualifications from the study. Now, let's take a peek at the website where you'll be accessing the intervention, and I'll show you how to navigate through the site. So once you click the link in the email, it will take you here. This is week 1's homepage. You can tell it's week 1 because at the top it will tell you exactly which week and the title for each week and a summary of what you'll be reviewing for that week. Below that is an outline of the videos and readings, as well as the structure for your daily practice of that for that week. Below that is supplemental reading. Again, this is not required to do the supplemental activities and readings for the research study. However, if you would like to do them, feel free to do that. If you keep scrolling down, you'll see where all the videos, readings, and practice sheets are housed. If you click on any of these, it will take you directly to the videos and reading materials. And say if you click on the videos, it'll take you to YouTube, and you can see, if I move my screen here, the upper right-hand corner. Once you hit play, it will play all the required videos consecutively for that week. Below that, under the practice sheets, you can see both the formal and informal practice logs. You can go ahead and click on the Word format to take you to a Word document. And if you need to access the actual activities to be completed for the logs, what you can do is either go up here to the, do you see the tab or the side toolbar on the left? You can go under the practice section, and since this week the body scan is required, you will click body scan, and that'll take you to that screen to access the material. Some options for homework, there might be more than one option for homework, and you can see here this is a 32-minute body scan. There's also a 20-minute version, and to access that you would click on the hyperlink for the 20-minute. Now say I want to go back to week 1's home page. I go back to the left-hand toolbar and click on week 1. Then I can scroll all the way down and access the material. And say I open up my practice log. Let's see here, and this is going to open up a Word document. You can see that even the activities are hyperlinked within the document itself, and you can click that to access the activities as another option. And again, to reiterate, the supplemental materials you can access freely, however, they're not required for this study. And please access this, the home pages from the link that's emailed to you, and please only access the week of what is outlined in the email. That concludes the informational video for the intervention phase. This video link will remain active for the remainder of the study and can be accessed at any time. Please contact the researcher immediately if you have trouble accessing the emails or assessment surveys. I have also included my contact information here in case you have any additional questions or concerns. Please be on the lookout for the first email for this phase titled MBSR Week 1 Materials. Thank you and enjoy.